Welcome y'all, and thanks so much for joining me again today. In today's video, I'm just doing some real life homemaking, sharing a few wins in the kitchen and a couple fails too, because that's just how it goes around here. I'll also be getting the kitchen all tidied up after I'm finished with all my cooking. It's again nothing fancy, it's just real life, but I'm so glad to have you here. First, I'm going to get some space cleanup because the kitchen was already a little messy to begin with, and I like to have a clean area to work in. So once I've got some room, I'm going to get started on making some bread. I'm making a potato flake bread. I've got my starter and I fed it earlier so it would be ready to use. I've made this bread a couple times already and it's absolutely delicious. It's so soft, it's just perfect bread and we love it. So for this recipe, I'm using 1 cup of the active potato flake starter, a 1/4 cup of warm water, 1/4 cup of oil. I use avocado oil, a teaspoon of salt, and then 3 to 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I do put this in my bread machine and it usually works out great. This is such a simple recipe and I think that's why I love it so much. On top of the fact that the bread is amazing, it's super easy to make. That's a win-win in my book. So after I've got the bread started, I'm going to feed my starter again. And what I use to feed it is 3 tablespoons of potato flakes, and I use the Rob's Red Mill flakes so that there's nothing additional added in those. Then I'll use 3/4 cups of sugar and a cup of warm water and stir it all together and let it sit, and it will bubble nicely in just a few hours. This starter is so easy. It's almost fail-proof. Then I'm moving on. I'm going to make some apple muffins. I had some apples left in the fridge that were starting to go bad and the kids just really haven't been eating them. So I'm going to go ahead and make some muffins with them. Muffins are always a hit around here. The kids love them and I can freeze them, which make them super versatile and easy, and I can just pull some out when we need them. So I'm going to get started cutting up my apples. So for this recipe, I kind of loosely followed a recipe. I needed to use more apples than what called for. It still turned out great. I also had some applesauce that I made, so I needed to use that in this recipe. So it's kind of a combination. But here is one of my fails. I told you I had several fails today. I grabbed cumin instead of cinnamon and I started putting it in and I realized it was cumin and I couldn't take it out. I tried, but obviously it was just going to mess it up. So I just left it in there and hoped the kids couldn't taste it, and they didn't. It actually turned out fine, but I couldn't believe I did that. So the bread is finally done and I'm getting it out of the bread machine. And you'll see my second fail of the day. I'm sharing this because I want to show you real life. Anyways, the bread didn't turn out as I was hoping. It didn't rise very well. This is the first time this has happened and I'm really not sure what went wrong. It kind of turned into a little puck. Emmy did still eat some while it was warm, but after that it was just really dense and heavy. But it's not a total loss. I was still able to use it, so I'm going to cut it up, save it for later, and turn it into a French toast casserole. So while that bread's cooling, I'm going to go ahead and move on and start getting this kitchen cleaned up. Of course, I'm starting with the dishes because, as usual, there's always a sink full of dishes. Okay, as I'm getting things all cleaned up again, I wanted to show you my sourdough starter here. I fed it earlier and it's already getting nice and bubbly again. This starter is super easy and quick to use, and it's not hard to take care of as a true sourdough starter, which is why I love it. rest of the dishes washed and now all the bottles washed up, but it's just something about getting the sink all cleaned out that makes it feel so much less cluttered and starting to get cleaner already. I just love having the sink cleaned out. It's just something about it. really love the feeling I get knowing I can make a healthier, homemade options for my family and get the house cleaned up afterwards. There's just something about it that makes me feel really good. Even though I had a couple fails today, everything still turned out. It's so special to me that I'm able to do this for my family, and I love being able to take care of them in this way. It's really the little things in life. My coffee bar area ends up being our medicine spot and a catch-all for all sorts of things, and it just piles up. I'm finally getting it cleared out, getting the medicine put away, and getting it nice and clean over here. I love starting my mornings with a fresh, clutter-free area, and finally getting this done feels really good. As I like this area to be clean and neat, it helps me start my mornings fresh and less clutter in my mind. But I do still have to leave a few things out. We have a teething baby, so there's some teething things there, and we've had a little sickness run through our household lately, so I'm just leaving a few things out that have been needed. Then I'm getting this trash taken out and moving on to cleaning up our dining area. Okay, I'm giving the floors a good vacuum while also dodging the baby. I'm skipping mopping today, but I'm just getting them vacuumed really well. And that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment below letting me know what you think. Thanks again, and I hope to see you again in the next video.